A lot of us have not actually sat down with ourselves to realize who am truly at the core of my mind. Like, who do I want to keep being that I really truly enjoy? That if everything was perfect and I don't have to hide, who would I truly want to be? Become radically honest with yourself. You will begin to see that the results have not really changed. And this is when you need to start asking yourself, why, with all the education, with all the awareness that I claim to have, why have I kept repeating the same old result? Why have my result not really changed? Why have I fully not experienced life the way I actually want to experience it? Why do I still feel stuck in the same old circle? Why can I not just move out of this experience and experience something bigger and larger? This is where we need to start asking ourselves these questions, because when you start asking yourself these questions, you are getting closer. Once you've gotten your answer, you need to start looking deep at your patterns, at your habits, at your thinking process, at your beliefs, how you got there, because it is by changing all of these things that allows your result to finally start changing. For me, the bigger picture was undressing everything that was within me so that I could recreate a new image or new results. So for me, I had to fully love myself back. I had to stop pushing hard. I had to reconnect with that true essence of who I am. That true essence of who I am was I was messy, I was unorganized. I love a challenge that would make me grow. But if it's going to stress me out, I don't want to do it. That is who I naturally am. I love to see how far I can do the next day. And I realized that I've been doing opposites to who I really am. Of course, we could change ourselves. And I thought to myself that I could actually change who I truly am to maybe working harder, pushing harder, hustling and all of that. But I asked myself, do I really want to change who I truly am? I love this version of me that loves to take things easy, that is unbothered about how things look, that loves to join and put things together and make it look creative and nice, that is get things done through messy and being unorganized, because it's in the mess that she finds a gem, that she finds a diamond. And I love that version of me. So why would I even want to change it? So I realized that there is no point trying to change me. I love it and I love the experience of me because it allows me to have more freedom, it allows me to experience more and be more of who I am. So I decided, okay, I'm going to embrace this version of me. And that was when I started loving more of myself and being true to myself. From loving more of myself, it allowed me to reconnect with myself. And from reconnecting to myself, it allowed me to start rebuilding what I thought was already lost but was covered and buried. Then I started rebuilding who I was. And then from rebuilding who I was, I started to reset them, like putting them on the pillars, the right pillars that they were. And that was how I came up with my life reset program. Hello everyone, it's your girl Titilayo 3.8, and today we are going to be talking about the law of cause and effect. So this is how we create a reality. When things are fine, you think positive things. I've been using my circumstances anyway to think positive things. When things are going on fine, we are happy, loving the moment, enjoying every moment. Then when things turn out wrong, then we start to think negative thoughts. And if that circumstance stays longer than usual, then those negative thoughts start to recreate more and more of those negative circumstances that we don't want. That is why it is hard and very challenging for people that are poor or in a negative circumstances, allows them to just keep recreating the same old thing. And that is why there is a lot of work and effort that people in a negative circle put into their life to make them have the positive effects. So I want to say I'm a very self-aware person, and I became more self-aware like when I restarted this journey in my business. Basically, I know already that I am the cause of my results. So whenever I've been working on something wholeheartedly and I cannot see the result, I start to look at what have I been doing and what can I do right. But what tends to happen with a lot of us is that we think about what we have been doing. We don't think about what we have been thinking. And there are two different actions in it. So, for example, I have been really focusing on my business, working, trying to get things right, doing everything right. And then 3 months later, 6 months later, I'm not getting the result that I want. And I start thinking, okay, what have I been doing? And then automatically, as high achieving women, we just start looking at the doing. Oh, okay, maybe this offer is not working, or maybe I need to change my sales team, or maybe I need to change my marketing team, or maybe I need to just go and get another job, or maybe these people cannot see me, or maybe my manager cannot see me. We start thinking of the doing. We don't think about the thinking behind it, the energy behind our doing. So immediately, what do? We change our doing. So for example, like me, what I did was I changed my offers. I said, okay, maybe those offers were not working well. I changed my strategy. I said, okay, maybe I need to be more on Instagram than on YouTube. I started working hard at it. And then I did that for a month or two, thinking, okay, now that I've changed my strategy, I should start getting results. And then all of a sudden, the results were still the same. And then I'm thinking, what the heck is happening? Then, as high achieving women, we don't sit to really study what is going on. We now start thinking, oh, maybe I need more qualifications. Oh, maybe I need to be more. Being more, yes, but we think in the sense of maybe being people's face, or maybe doing more, or maybe just being large, or I would say taking up space. But there are two different things when it comes to taking up space, which I will explain again. So we start thinking, oh, maybe I need to hire an expensive coach, or maybe for some people who think, oh, maybe I need to buy a designer bag, maybe I need to start working, thinking, acting the part. And I also did the same. I thought maybe I need to start working the part, doing the part. Maybe I need to start going to the high-end shops. Maybe I need to start attending high-end events. And I did all of that. I did all the doing. And after doing so much doing, and I was just tired and the results were still the same, that was when I decided, oh gosh, this doing is not actually getting me nowhere. And a lot of women do that. Maybe you are trying to lose weight and you think to yourself, okay, my results are not changing. What else do I need to do? Say, oh, maybe I need to start another diet, or maybe I need to learn more about this diet, or maybe I need to go and join an expensive gym. Maybe I need to be in a group, and then we do it. For someone that wants more money, would do something similar that I have done. Some will even travel to another country and say, oh, maybe it's just this country that I'm living in. Maybe I need to go to another country. And some will say, maybe I need to change jobs. Maybe I need to start sucking up to that manager that I don't like. We just change everything. And then yet our results are still the same. There might be a slight difference, but there is no much of a difference between the old and the new. It's just like your result dressed up in new attire, and you might think you're getting some results. A lot of people are always going through that. And I went through that in my business only for me to realize that my doing was not getting me anywhere. And that was when I just dropped everything. I started thinking about myself and what I really want, and why I really want what I wanted, and the things that I've created. This was the point where I sat down with myself to start understanding me. And I realized that actually these offers that I have created, it was not something totally me. Yes, in as much as I wanted people to lose weight, be healthy, reconnect with who they truly are, I have gone about it the wrong ways. Like naturally, if everything was perfect and I had the perfect condition, I asked myself, would I still choose that offer? Would I still do it the same way that I'm doing it? And I realized that, oh, that's not me totally. That is totally different. So before I was actually able to even pull the offers that I have, I just had to like just let it go and start thinking about my own life. And one thing I realized was that I was not loving myself enough. I thought was loving myself. I thought I had self-love within me. I didn't realize that at every point I was pushing myself, I was criticizing myself, I was making myself inferior in different ways. And I started realizing that there was a lot missing, especially when it came to self-love. And the biggest mistake that I realized, which the mistake is now a gift, was that I was punishing myself so bad. And I had to return to a place of loving myself more. And this was when I realized that we need to go back to, being me. And I realized that being me was that I love to do things easily. I love to simplify things. I like to start from the foundation. I don't like to rush things. I love to solve things as a whole. And this was when I started sitting down with myself and realized that, oh my God, I'm missing the biggest picture because I have kind of looked at what everyone is doing and saw, okay, maybe this is where I could fit in, and maybe this is my niche that I could carry on. And I realized that I was missing the bigger picture. For me, the bigger picture was undressing everything that was within me so that I could recreate a new image or new results. So for me, I had to fully love myself back. I had to stop pushing hard. I had to reconnect with that true essence of who I am. And that true essence of who I am was I was messy. I was unorganized. I love things so easy. I love to chill. I don't like to struggle so much. I love a challenge that would make me grow. But if it's going to stress me out, I don't want to do it. That is who I naturally am. But I love a growth. I love growing. I love challenges. I love to see how far I can do the next day. And I realized that I've been doing opposite to who I truly am. Of course, we could change ourselves. And I thought to myself that I could actually change who I truly am to maybe working harder, pushing harder, hustling, and all of that. But I asked myself, do I really want to change who I truly am? I love this version of me that loves to take things easy, that is unbothered about how things look, that loves to join and put things together and make it look creative and nice, that is, get things done through messy and being unorganized, because it's in the mess that she finds a gem, that she finds a diamond. And I love that version of me. So why would I even want to change it? So I realized that there is no point trying to change me. I love it and I love the experience of me because it allows me to have more freedom, it allows me to experience more and be more of who I am. So I decided, okay, I am going to embrace this version of me. And that was when I started loving more of myself and being true to myself. From loving more of myself, it allowed me to reconnect with myself. And from reconnecting to myself, it allowed me to start rebuilding what I thought was already lost, but was covered and buried. Then I started rebuilding who I was. And then from rebuilding who I was, I started to reset them, like putting them on the pillars, the right pillars that they were. And that was how I came up with my life reset program. So that's a little story about me. But I want to go back to, like, in general, what people do. A lot of the time, people will meet those aspects and are really, really confused on what to do. This is where people just keep reliving history and keep themselves in the doing, thinking that it's the doing that will help them change their results. And they keep jumping from one place to another, from one job to another, from one friend to another, from one hustle to another, from one strategy to another. Don't get me wrong, I've done all of that. Even before I started my business again, I've done all of that. I moved from one business to another. I moved from one job to another. In fact, the amount of jobs that I have done and nothing has actually stuck. I can't even count it. I have always moved at, okay, maybe it's not this, or maybe it's this, or maybe it's that. And we just keep thinking that it's our doing, or like we just need to keep looking and finding the right path. But then a lot of us have not actually sat down with ourselves to realize, who am I truly at the core of my mind? Like, who do I want to keep being, that I really, really truly enjoy? That if everything was perfect and I don't have to hide, who would I truly want to be? And then you can also look at, who have I been and what have I been doing that is not even truly me at all, that at the core of my mind, at the bottom of my heart, does not rhyme with who I am. And I'm only just doing it because sometimes we're just doing some things or being or acting in some ways just to get a certain things. After we get what we want, we let go of it. And that brings me back to, like, another aspect of me that I have been being and doing for a long time to maintain the status quo and to keep peace. And I didn't realize that doing and being in that aspect, I have been shrinking my power, shrinking my freedom, not being able to fully express myself in the name of maintaining the status quo, or just, trying to keep peace and not be the troublemaker. Because I asked myself, Titilayo, if everything was perfect, if you had all the things that you wanted, you could go anywhere that you wanted, you're not limited in any way, would you still be running your business the same way you're running your business? Would you still be in that relationship that you are in now? Would you still be talking to those people? Would you be acting the way you're acting? Would you be dressing the way you're dressing? Would you be talking the way you're talking? How would you be, Titilayo? And this was when I started to redefine and reconnect to the true essence of who I am. Says, I am still building and every day reconnecting to the true essence of who I am, because you cannot fully become everything that you want to be in this lifetime. But every day you are going to get opportunities to become more of who you truly are. You are going to get opportunities to get closer and closer to that perfect image of God, because it is written in the Bible that becoming that perfect image of God is what the goal is. So every day you are going to be unpeeling so that you can become that perfect image, but it never ends. Every day is an opportunity for you to become more of you. And this is why I have created a life reset workshop, because the life reset workshop is a space that I have created for us to become aware of the patterns, the habits that tie us down, the habit that allow us to keep repeating the same old program and does not allow us to become fully who we are meant to be, that does not allow us to see the opportunities, the gifts of who we truly are, because that patterns, those habits, they keep us stuck. We are like a hamster in a wheel. We keep going over and over the same old thing, and our results are always the same old results. They never really change, because sometimes if you have to look at your results in the last 10 years, forget about the dressing around your result, forget about how new or shining the things that you have, but look deep within your results. Has it really changed? Have you fully experienced more of the version of who you truly are? Or have you just been the same old person that you've always been? When you become radically honest with yourself, you will begin to see that the results have not really changed. And this is when you need to start asking yourself, why, with all the education, with all the awareness that I claim to have, why have I kept repeating the same old result? Why have my result not really changed? Why have I fully not experienced life the way I actually want to experience it? Why do I still feel stuck in the same old circle? Why can I not just move out of this experience and experience something bigger and larger? This is where we need to start asking ourselves these questions, because when you start asking yourself these questions, you are getting closer. And the questions is not just enough for you to ask. Once you've gotten your answers, you need to start looking deep at your patterns, at your habits, at your thinking process, at your beliefs, how you got there. Because it is by changing all of these things that allows your result to finally start changing. The change happens immediately when you say to yourself, I am no longer this, I am no longer following this pattern. This is who I am now. That change happens immediately. However, the external will take a while for it to start showing, because a solid foundation has been built outside. But the minute you make that change internally, you start taking back your power away from what you see externally and start feeding the new change you want. And slowly, what you have built externally starts to die. Sometimes it could die quickly, depending on how strong you've built it and how focused you are building the internal change. It depends on our focus and on our attention and consistency as well. But the change internally will catch up with the external, and very soon you will no longer see your old results but your new results. And this is how change is made. This is how your results are made, because it's like a woman who decides that I am no longer an unhealthy person. I am now a healthy person. And she decides that that is who I am. Because she's made that identity shift in her mind, her patterns starts to change. Sometimes it might be slow because her patterns run on autopilot. So most of the time when she's conscious, she will choose good food. But sometimes when she's not present, unconsciously, she will still choose the unhealthy version. But then maybe after she's eating it, she remembers and she says, okay, I can see it. I'll choose better next time. Next time, she chooses better. And then that happens for 2 weeks. And then maybe 1 or 2 days within another week, she chooses wrongly. She says, okay, that's fine. Next time, I'll choose better. For 3 weeks, she chooses better. Her results start to change gradually and slowly. And then maybe 1 week later, she chooses wrongly. She keeps saying, it doesn't matter. I will just keep choosing the right food. And then 4 weeks later, she chooses right as well. The results start to change. So she's not fully comfortable in choosing the right. As choosing is becoming stronger, is growing. And give that woman another 6 months, a result would have grown as well. Give her another 1 year. As long as she remains true to that identity, oh gosh, give her 1 year, her results would have grown. If she remains in that identity, give her 2 years and 3 years, her result would have grown significantly. And that is how the change happens. Because a lot of people give up after 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, even 3 months or 6 months. And they claim that I've done everything that I can, but the changes is not happening. It's just like planting a seed, and you plant the seed, nothing happens in the first 1 month or 2 weeks, but all of a sudden something starts to appear, and then all of a sudden you stop watering the seed, and then it begins to look like it's dying again, and then you start to water the seed, it starts to appear again over the ground. See, it's the consistency that actually makes it grow so that you don't lose motivation. However, life is not like that. A lot of the time we struggle, a lot of people struggle with consistency. And some people think, oh, if I cannot be consistent enough, there is no point. Sis, consistency doesn't mean that your results would stop if you stop. Because if you look at the trees, they are not perfect. Today, you can see a tree growing beautifully well, and then maybe in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, it hasn't received enough water, and then it's just stagnant. And then all of a sudden, there is sufficient water and it grows again. The tree is not perfect, even with its results, even with the fruits. So why do we expect ours to be perfect? Just need to not give up. Just as the tree doesn't give up and say, oh, because my fruits are not perfect this season, I'm just going to die off. I'm not going to produce any more fruit. No, the tree already has an identity. I'm already a tree. That is my job. So the tree keeps growing, regardless whether it's consistent or not. But the tree never gives up. The tree continues to grow. So, as us, we should maintain our identity. Anyway, I'm going to stop here, and I am using this opportunity to invite you to my life reset workshop. It is a workshop with recorded videos that you are going to use in your own time and space to see what your patterns are, so that you can have sufficient time to really unlock those patterns. Once you have unlocked those patterns and immediately you sign up, you are moved into a private container where I will be supporting you on a daily basis with voice notes, with prompts, and I'll be answering your questions, helping you see through anywhere that you might feel stuck, so that we can move through it together, and so that you can start recreating new patterns that would work better for you. All right, my queens, it's your girl Titilayo 3.8, and I look forward to seeing you in my next episode. Take care.